Hi friends, I'm Lolly, and I need your help today if that's okay. Look, this is my friend Lily Bat, and she's having a hard time sleeping. Do you guys ever have a hard time sleeping? I know I have a hard time sleeping sometimes, and when I do, I like to cozy up in a really comfy place with lots of comfy things like a stuffed animal, and then I like to read a good book, and sometimes that helps me go to sleep. So I've got a really good book, and I would love for you guys to help read it with me. All right, Lily, you ready to get all cozy? All right, why don't you guys get cozy too, and I'll get the book. 1, 2, 3. The Man Who Had No Dream. This is a book that I used to read all the time when I was a little girl. I loved the drawings. They were look like they're made out of chalk, and as you guys can see, I love drawings that are made out of chalk. But I also love this story too. So let's find out a little bit about The Man Who Had No Dream. Mr. Oliver was the richest man in town. There he is. Whoa, that's a lot of people in town. Everybody's different. All day long, he sat at his window and watched everyone working hard for a living. Mr. Oliver didn't have to work. He had so much money he could buy anything he wanted. Look at that fancy house. Every evening, Mr. Oliver sat at his window and waited for people to come home from work. Tired after a busy day, the townsfolk rested and looked at the stars and the moon and the night. But not for long. They were too yawny and drowsy and sleepy from working so hard. How's Lily doing? I think she's still awake, but she's getting sleepier. Soon, they all went to bed and fell fast asleep. After a while, Mr. Oliver went to bed too, but he didn't fall fast asleep. He just lay tossing and turning on his fine bed. Whoa, that's a fancy bed. And look, there's everybody else in their little regular beds, getting ready for sleep. The weary workers quickly drifted off to the land of dreams. Oh, there they are. They dreamed happy dreams made of wishes and hopes. They dreamed unhappy dreams made of fears and tears. But Mr. Oliver couldn't sleep because he wasn't tired. And he couldn't dream because he had nothing to dream about. No wishes, no hopes, no fears, no tears. Night after night, he tried sleeping in different beds, each one more beautiful than the last. Do you think that's going to help him sleep? A fancier bed? Look, fancy, extra fancy, super fancy, extremely fancy. My bed is not that fancy. Night after night, he walked back and forth, back and forth. Still, he couldn't sleep and he couldn't dream. He waited for morning to come so he could go back to his window and watch everyone working hard for a living. It's a lot of Mr. Oliver's. Back and forth, back and forth. One night, when Mr. Oliver was very wide awake and very much alone, he heard a noise at his window. He went to look. He found a little hurt bird that had fluttered and fallen on his windowsill. Poor little thing, Mr. Oliver said sadly. The city's no place for birds. Look, there he is, and there's a little bird. Can you see what color the bird is? I think it's a blue bird. He lifted the little bird very gently and carried it inside, not outside. He put it to bed on a silk cushion. He fed it milk from a silver spoon. Carefully, he bandaged its hurt wings. Mr. Oliver worked and worked. At last, tired and yawny, and drowsy and sleepy, he fell fast asleep with the little bird in his arms. And while Mr. Oliver slept, something quite wonderful happened. Look, there he he is helping the bird. And there he is. Is that a fancy place to sleep? No. Mr. Oliver began to dream. There he is, floating up above the moon, up into dreamland. Wow, look at that dream he's having. He dreamed there was a place in the city meant just for birds. He dreamed about a park for birds with flowers and bird baths and trees. Oh, that is a good dream, isn't it? The next morning, bright and early, Mr. Oliver hurried outdoors, and for the first time in his life, he began to work. He spaded and raked and planted and watered. He built a beautiful park, all planted with leafy trees and bright flowers. People and laughing children came there to romp and play and picnic in the grassy hills. Look, there's his beautiful park. Do you think the birds are going to be so happy there? Do you think the people are going to be so happy there? Do you think Mr. Oliver's going to be so happy? I think he is. From that day on, Mr. Oliver never had trouble going to sleep, and he never slept without a dream. Mr. Oliver was a happy, busy man, a man with wishes and hopes and fears and tears. And that is the end of this story. And I think that Lily is very sleepy. Are you guys sleepy at home? Well, I hope that you guys had a busy day doing lots of fun things. Maybe you played outside today. Maybe you stayed inside and played. Maybe you did something very kind for somebody else. Maybe you did something kind for yourself. Whatever you did today, I hope that you have sweet dreams. I hope that you sleep well. And remember, if you're having any trouble sleeping, just read a good book, snuggle up tight with somebody that you love, and think of all of your wishes and your hopes and your fears and tears, and off to dreamland you'll go. All right, everyone, say goodnight to Lily the Bat. Good night, Lily Bat. Just gonna hang her upside down in her little cave. I'm gonna get going for that though. Ready? 1, 2,